Greetings, ITCE students, and welcome to week 6, meetings part 2, and I'm starting at slide number 37. So if you are attending a meeting that's, again, a little bit more formal, perhaps than your team meetings for a school project or something like that, so this could be something like a parent council meeting at a school, or if you belong to a hockey association and they have an annual or twice annual meeting or something, there's probably going to be a chairperson. And even though, like I said, if you are part of one of those kinds of organizations, they'll tell you when the meetings have to be held and who has to be there. But it might not necessarily outline all of the responsibilities of the chair in that policy or procedure for the organization. So these are some of the things, though, that are the responsibilities of the chairperson. So the chairperson is the one, remember, who's going to implement the rules of order, make sure that the meeting follows the rules of order. So they need to do all of these things. Okay, so you can pause the video here and make sure that you're reading all of these things. And then when you have an idea now about what happens at a meeting and how the meeting is run, then what you can do is you can go to this page and you can read it more in depth by clicking on the link to the e-reserve. And then you can do this little check for understanding to make sure you understand the process for running a formal board meeting. Okay. Now I put this slide in, I know a little bit before I had a link to a sample agenda, but here I've actually pasted one into the slide so that you can see it. This is Durham College, has a board of governors, and they follow a formal, because all colleges are run, they have to have a board that oversees the hiring of the president, that approves the budget, that sets direction and policy, and the board for Durham College is made up of community members, people here in Durham region. So this is typically what an agenda will look like. Remember that the last one, if you click through the example on the Roberts Rules slide, it had these sorts of things. So you'll see that this is where they have presentations, and then they have that thing called the consent agenda. So I hope you clicked through to learn what a consent agenda was. Okay. I also moved a little bit further down here and highlighted so you would see what a motion looks like. Okay, and you'll see that there was probably lots and lots of discussion. This might have been 5 minutes, this might have been 10 minutes, this might have been 20 minutes of discussion. The agenda is probably timed, so there was probably a set amount of time. But you'll notice that they don't go into extreme detail about who said what, every single comment. What they do is they say this happened, and then when they make a decision or an action that the whole board is going to follow through on, they do something called making a motion. And motions have to be, somebody has to make the motion and somebody else has to second it, which says I specifically, and they put the name beside these things. And then then it's announced and everybody has to raise their hand or agree. And then it says it's carried or approved. Okay, so that's me. This is our video 2 for meetings. I am going to do one more after this.